everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty, pretty, pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand, head to the floor, and we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then side to the left. Yeah. I'm in love with the nightlife. When we're in the limelight, makes me feel like everything is gonna be alright. I'm in love with the nightlife. When we're in the limelight, makes me feel like everything is gonna be alright.
Good evening, welcome to the Stephen Knight Show. Hope you're having a great Monday despite this quarantine and everything we have going on. We're going to try to make it a little bit better for you tonight. Tonight we continue and complete our conversation on depression. If you remember last week we had a panel of therapists and survivors, including our own Chika Evans, to talk about depression and mental health. I think it's a very important conversation, especially with everything we're facing as a country right now. But we continue that conversation tonight. Then in Hot Topics, we're talking about everything everyone's talking about. Chloe hinted to the fact that she may be seeking Tristan's DNA to have another child. They talked about that on the last episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And then Boris Kodjoe clarifies some statements that his wife made in on a relationship show that had the internet kind of scratching their head. So hear what he has to say. And then, of course, we're talking about the coronavirus, the updates, and some of the states are starting to lift some of the restrictions. So a lot to discuss in Hot Topics. I want to remind you, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and, of course, our official website, thestephenknightshow.com. You can also check us out on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Play. Just go to our website. When we come back, the question of the day and Hot Topics right back after this.
We in this biatch, like we're all over our sweethearts. Self-discovery, lesson learned, we on our Alfred Hitchcock. East Coast hard, West Coast hard. Rest in peace to pop, poetic hip-hop. Round and round we go. Life cycle, tick-tock, it's me. Someone an anomaly, first degree of hip-hop hypocrisy. Never fit in what you motherfucking label me. As I sit back and watch, never interject. Money in the bank with the ill concept. Vision is clear, never gets complex. Chillin' on the scene like Peace Hotel. For the 1800 and vanilla Coke. Sit back and chill, maybe even smoke. Summertime lounging, good to go. Chillin' at the beach, that's how we roll. I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it fly high.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it shake it, just like
sexy, baby. We be the scene stillers, way back Castillers. Hollywood Hill, real dealers, no filters. Lounging in the cut with the cold chillers. Twisted on the sun, propaganda for fun. Run, forest, run, dream builders. Fly establishment, clean with fresh kicks. Good eating, sunbathing where the money went. Harlem bars, Harley stars, two twisted Uber cars. Stripper poles, diamond gold, church basket, tithe and hold. Private gyms, salty ribs, exclusive diamond fold. Friends, purple label, more stable. Life coach, now you're able. Capitans, spas, tins, freaky hints. But yo, where the money, where the make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it fly high.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it shake it, just don't break it, get that sexy.
Scene stillers, Hollywood heel dealers, lounging in the cut with the big willers, rocking clean whips and fresh kicks. Harlem bars, Harley stars, twisted Uber cars.
Car ride by with the booming system. Throwback vibe with a good intention. Lover who you are, don't be scared to mention. Chillin' with my beats, no ill pretension. Catch the waves, dancing days, Sundays, fun days, Fridays, payday, make money any day. Whatever you do, love it and be free. And remember, I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy,
Baby.
make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it fly high.
I make it sexy, baby.
Make it sexy, make it super fly.
Make it sexy, baby.
Make it shake it,
vulnerable one.
This is Dr. Heavenly from Bravo TV's Married to Medicine, and you are listening to The Stephen Knight Show.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Miss Parker, how's it going?
Happy Monday. What's up?
Nothing much, nothing much. How was your weekend?
It was good and relaxing. Didn't do much. It rained all day yesterday, so not much going on there, and just kind of chilled on Saturday.
Okay.
So, typical weekend during quarantine season.
Right. Exactly. How was yours, Chica?
Actually, to be totally honest, I slept most of the weekend. I am exhausted. You know, work has me like spinning circles around myself.
Wow. I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, a lot of changes, a lot of adapting to new situations.
Yeah.
Playing it ear by ear. Yeah, it's crazy.
I can only imagine. Nair, how was your weekend?
It was good. Lots of sleeping and a lot of eating this weekend for me. I was stuffed the whole weekend, man. You know, but it was a good weekend for me, though. It was fair.
That's good. Good food yet? Yeah, good food? Nair?
Huh?
I said, did you have good food?
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll make sure we didn't lose you.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what's up.
No. I had definitely. It was a lot of home-cooked food. My sister was cooking it up, man. She was cooking some dishes I hadn't even had before, and they were all delicious. Delicious.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
My weekend was pretty cool. Yesterday, I literally slept from like 12 o'clock until like 7:30, on and off. My sleeping pattern's been off, but I slept all day. But I was up to like 3 this morning, so it balanced out. But a pretty good weekend, considering everything going on. Well,
right.
Our question of the day is, has this time of quarantine gotten harder or easier for you as time goes on? Ms. Parker?
I think for me it's been the same. I still don't really have any cabin fever or anything. I'm still taking the time as necessary to do what I think is meant for me in my space. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
Good. But you, Chike?
I would say a little harder, just simply because I'm not quarantined or anything.
Right.
But the duties at work have become more complex, and even just getting to work has become more complex because I don't live in the city of Philadelphia. I have to commute in, and they've made adjustments to the transit system according to they call it the COVID-19 schedule, and it's basically less than everything that they had, and it's just to get the essential workers to work. But I think I mentioned before, the homeless people are now using the public transit system as shelter.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult.
Yeah, I can only imagine. What about you, Nair?
It hasn't gotten any harder for me. I feel for Chike, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, Chike, how are you staying protected? How are you staying, healthy? Are a lot of your colleagues being, infected or I'm not sorry, infected, but contracting this thing or what?
So
the ratio.
Funny that you ask. And there is some kind of I don't want to say it's an issue at work, but there's a buzz because they're finding out that people are symptomatic, and of course they don't test you until you're symptomatic, and then people are going out. And they're going out for the 2-week period of time, and then they're bringing them back because they're starting to test negative after they flush through their systems, because these are the healthier people. There are people that are out that have been sick. They stay out because they're not, I guess they haven't passed the virus through their system. But we've had situations with patients that come into the hospital and they test them and they're negative, but then they come back at a later date positive.
Yeah.
And so now they have to go back over the records. Well, who worked on this patient? Who was in that room? If whoever worked on this patient, whoever's in that room, whoever did anything involving this patient now has to be screened. And so they're finding that some people at that point have been positive, so they're sending them out. And we have this window of 2 weeks in which we send people out, and then they're testing them, and then they're coming back negative. But to me, personally, I don't think that they know enough about this virus, and they're not doing enough testing to get a handle on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Jeez.
Makes a lot of
sense. So
I
just stay away from everyone.
Right. Yeah. I think for me, it's it hasn't gotten harder. If anything, I've gotten more of a routine, like in terms of working out, and I think the biggest thing for me is just getting my sleeping pattern together, but that's nothing really major. But yeah, like this weekend, I decided to do some things around the house, like like I had this cabinet that has all these boxes because I order a lot of technology. And the boxes are so nice, it's hard for me to throw them away. But I'm like, I don't need these boxes. So I went through that cabinet, I broke the boxes down, threw them out, and just different things like that I've been meaning to do, I just hadn't done. So I'm trying to make the most of it. But tweet us at home and let us know, has this time of quarantine gotten harder or easy for you as time goes on? All right, so hot topics, COVID-19, quick update. The worldwide number of cases has surpassed 2 million. But over 643,000 people have recovered, but there's been 168,906 deaths worldwide. The United States has been a little over 42,000 deaths with 789 plus cases here. But then 71,767 people have recovered from it. So I just saw a story on CNN. There was this guy, he was 29 years old, healthy young man, and he contracted it from one of his friends who was asymptomatic. And he had gotten so bad that his family was reading his last rites to him behind a glass, glass, like a shield. They thought that he was going to be passing, and a last attempt effort by the doctors saved his life, and so he's actually recovering now at home. He was doing an interview on CNN, but it's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of people throughout the country were protesting this weekend, wanting the social distancing, rules to be lifted, which is not necessarily safe because the people weren't, 6 feet apart or whatever. They were out in droves, and then there were some first responders, like nurses. There was one nurse who peacefully protested against them by just standing there in front of the cars, and it's just chaos. I mean, in one stance, you can understand people want to get back to work. They have bills and whatnot, but also if we open up the economy too soon, people will die. There'll be more deaths. And speaking of, some of the, especially in the South, some of the states are opening back up. Here in Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp announced that as of Friday, he's going to be allowing certain businesses to reopen, such as gyms, fitness centers, barbers, hairdressers, nail salons, and massage therapists. And different mayors throughout Georgia are not happy with this decision because they really feel like we're not ready. But that's where we are. What are your thoughts?
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry. I'm just listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, in my opinion, those are the worst businesses to open up because it's that person-to-person contact.
Exactly.
Why would you open up those businesses?
Exactly. And they was at Harvard. They did a study that said to get the country fully up to where it needs to be for the economy open, they need to do like 20 million tests a day. And we don't have that capability. So, Ms. Parker, just based on everything, what are your thoughts on where we are with COVID-19? Do you think that we are ready to open back up? Will you be, out and about this weekend?
You know what? With this whole COVID-19 thing, I have no clue what's going on. I don't trust the people who are giving me information. I don't trust the information that's coming out.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care of me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what I think is safe and sound for me.
Yeah.
And I don't have any opinions on whether or not people should go out, if they need to be out. I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to do common sense things that I know have been keeping me safe, and I'm going to continue to do those things.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm looking at it now.
I agree with that. What about you, Chika? I know you're still out there, but what are your thoughts on some of these states opening back up? Like Florida, they had the beaches open this weekend. What are your thoughts?
I just believe it's going to be a disaster. Mm-hmm. I think that, those people are going to get out and they're going to become infected, and then they're going to need medical attention, and they're going to flood the health system.
Yeah.
And the health system is not ready to take that on yet. We're still dealing with, and don't get me wrong, some places are better than others.
Right,
New York was the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Some places are better than others. But when you flood the health system, and what happens when you flood the health system is that you start to get the healthcare workers sick. And if the healthcare workers start falling off and having to step out of work, it makes it worse because now there's even more patients and less workers. Mm-hmm. And that's a cycle that's just going to continue. Mm-hmm. So, and before you even open up any businesses, you're going to have to probably open up schools first, because what are you going to do with the children that belong to the people that are going to go back to work?
That's true. Chika, what are your thoughts?
Nair.
I'm sorry, Nair.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Michelle or Ms. Parker. So I think that's a great philosophy to take. Everyone kind of to do what they think is best for them and their family and their children and so on and so forth, because ultimately you've got to live with that decision in the end of it.
Right.
We know how much of a help the government may or may not be to you in your particular situation. It's all relative. I've been out. I have been out several times. I've been out, to Walmart, to Target, and to the gas stations, and I've been out. And what I believe is, fortunately, I believe I'm okay. I don't, foresee me being in any danger. Of course, you never know until it's too late. But I think you just kind of got to move the way you think is going, the thing that you'll be able to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And so, worst case scenario is I'll get sick. Am I prepared to deal with that? Am I prepared to have my family deal with that? So that's kind of the decision you got to make based on every and anything you do, I guess. Hopefully the people who decide to get out and be around a great deal of people dealing very closely, hopefully everyone is okay, but we do know that in all reality, everyone may not be okay. So I hope those people are prepared in some way, mentally, if nothing at all.
Yeah. I know I'll be still staying at home because the health officials are saying that it's too soon. So just because there's not enough testing, and people can be asymptomatic and you don't even know it, and so I'll be staying home.
Right.
I'm still following the guidelines.
Right. So you haven't been out at all, other than around your home. Literally gone.
No, I've been to grocery stores and different stores like that, but I haven't been just like this weekend. I will say I did go over my best friend's house, which that took an active guy because I wasn't going nowhere, but they convinced me because they've been quarantined. But other than that, I've just been going to stores and things like that. I have not, I'm not, again, I watch the news a lot, and although I do think that the government doesn't tell us everything, the numbers are there and people are there, and you're hearing the testimonies of people who have come out of this thing or even have lost family members. And as a matter of fact, one of my friends, his uncle passed away yesterday as a result of COVID-19. So it's like I'm just not playing with it. You know what I mean? But
so if work calls you back, and they say it's time to come back next week, are you going back?
Well, knowing my boss, that's not gonna happen because she's. I just don't see her doing that. But if I did, I had to go by the office one day to pick something up, and I had my mask on and whatnot. And I have a big enough office I can kind of keep to myself. But I don't know. It'll be difficult. It'll be difficult. But thankfully, I'm able to work from home. So
can I just add this too, Stephen? If most people saw what this disease looked like up close and personal, they would not risk it. They just would not play around with it because it's vicious and it's horrible. Mm-hmm. It's basically you suffocating to death.
Right, suffocating. Yep. And that's why you have to go on the ventilators and be turned on your stomach. And then the 29-year-old I was talking about, he said that he was kind of sedated, and he thought he had died. He thought he had died when he heard his family talking to him. I don't know. I don't want to go through that. But anyway, let's switch gears. So Lizzo, she's made it very clear that self-love and body positivity are just as important to her as her music, which is why her latest social media post is sure to make her fans very happy. She recently posted a video of herself wearing lingerie with a powerful message attached, one that she hopes can help those who are struggling with their self-image during the quarantine. Despite her critics and the hate that she receives from online trolls, that hasn't stopped Lizzo from embracing her beauty and her body in any way she sees fit. This body positivity is just one of the reasons why her fans love her so much. She likely had them in mind when she posted her latest video on Instagram. Again, wearing a black lingerie, she made the caption, "It's been a long ass day. Focus on the body part you don't like about yourself and show it some love today. This quarantine has a lot of people suffering from mental health issues because we can't get out and do our normal coping and self-care routines. Self-hatred was starting to creep up on me, but I got to remember." And you remember last week, her fans came to her defense because she was on Diddy's dance-a-thon, and he stopped her from twerking, but allowed Drea Michelle to do it later on in the day, but did he clarify that his reason was because of the song choice that Lizzo picked, not necessarily because she was twerking. The song had a bunch of curses in there, and it was early in the day, Easter Sunday, his kids were there. What do you think about Lizzo's body positivity and self-love, the way she expressed herself through lingerie and whatnot on social media, Ms. Parker?
You know what? No matter what you do in this life, you're gonna have people who agree with you and people who don't agree with you.
That's true. Yeah.
If she feels great in her body and she feels like that's her message and that's her, we all have a purpose. We all have something that we can be. I think that the best way you can inspire people is by being. If she feels like her message and her way to inspire people is by being the way that she is, I have no issue with it.
Yeah.
Her fans are going to love her, and the people who don't love her, they don't need to.
Okay. Chica?
I love Lizzo. She can't do no wrong in my book. That chick sent us lunch a couple weeks back.
Oh, wow.
And thanks, for us, doing what we do. So I always have love for Lizzo.
Yeah.
Power on, girl.
Yeah.
Do you.
Yeah. Naya?
I plead the fifth.
Why?
I plead the fifth. This is one of the moments that'll be probably won't work in my favor.
I follow her on social media, and I do like her. I do wish that everything wasn't about twerking and lingerie. But again, like Ms. Parker said, her fans love it, and people want to criticize either way. So as long as, I think she is giving a voice to people who struggle with the same issues. But yeah. Well, keep doing your thing, Lizzo. All right, take a quick break, come back with a couple more hot topics right back after this.
Then we taking over. One time.
That's the nigga they chasing, but the trooper she jacking. Man get never suffer, suffer, man get never suffer, suffer. I'm relying on the waiting, but I'm in the setting. That's the nigga they chasing, but the trooper she jacking. I said that you pass, she waiting, she checking, she looking like she not know what they are talking. I told her that trouble she causing, the way that she rocking and shaking her too mad. Onina Fatumata, put it on me like she from Kakatai. All the men scatter, Tao Bene, I want in a chaklai. When you tie your lapa, and you wear your skin test, when you rocking your tuma, Bange, I want marry you. Chamu, I want take you. Anything you want, I give it to you. Take my knee, my money, my car, my clothes, my everything, oh. Suffer, I'm never suffer, suffer, I'm relying on the waiting, but I'm in the setting. That's the nigga they chasing, but the trooper she jacking. I'm never suffer, suffer, I'm relying on the waiting, but I'm in the setting. That's the nigga they chasing, but the trooper she jacking.
What play you Nancy funk get capping? Like I said before, hungry line blocking. You leave it, another scamming with bop it. Grab it, squeeze it with dry face. That it done, you will be trying how to catch it. You know you're missing a casa bambete. Fix it, all five, trying how to catch it. Then you want speed series now till they get. Pretty girl, let me take you out of dinner. I got a cheddar, forgive me, I was a sinner. Gonna be better from January down to December. Take trips, go to Swaziland in the winter. So sexy, gorgeous, and beautiful. Everything that we do is so memorable. I'm feeling you from your head down to your toes. Don't have to speak on it, I'm gonna show.
I'm relying on the waiting, but I'm in the setting. That's the nigga they chasing, but the trooper she jacking. Man get never suffer. Safae, Pangana Safae, Safae, Angela on the waiting, Banamene the setting, that's the nigga they chasing, but the jupa she checking.
Anytime she walking, the boy them be watching. Anytime she walking, the boy them be jaking. Baby girl, you temptation. Anytime you turn girl, you confusion. Baby girl, you temptation. Anytime you turn girl, you confusion. Baby girl, you blow my mind away. Anytime you turn like way, girl, you make me wanting you tonight. Forget, never, you never
Safae, Angela on the waiting, Banamene the setting, that's the nigga they chasing, but the jupa she jacking. Forget never Safae, forget never Safae, Angela on the waiting, Banamene the setting, that's the nigga they chasing, but the jupa she jacking. Baby, let me say I apologize for all the other guys that broke your heart. Seems that I should take the blame. I should have been protecting you. I left you here all alone. I just can't stand that I took you for granted. I know what you like. You don't have to act. Let me back in your heart and I'll prove it to you. I know what to do and I'll show you. Take back the pain. What I gotta do to make you love again? I'll take back the pain. What I gotta do to make you love again? I'll get back on my knees, begging you please. Baby, won't you go back to love?
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to remind you we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our official website, StephenKnightShow.com. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just go to our website. All right, so it's been over a year since Khloe Kardashian found out publicly that her ex-boyfriend and father of their child, Tristan Thompson, cheated on her with her friend, Jordan Woods. Well, now the two are committed to co-parent, and things are apparently going well with Khloe, and they may be considering borrowing some of Tristan's DNA for another baby. During the most recent episode of their hit family reality series, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe is filled with anxiety as she prepares to send her 2-year-old daughter, True Thompson, off with her father alone in Cleveland for the first time. After Khloe sees how good of a dad he has become, she begins to ponder about having a second child, but not the traditional way. Instead, she just wants to borrow sperm from Tristan and give True a sibling. So the situation unfolded when Tristan was looking at some of little True's toys and suggested that they not get rid of them in case they have another baby. Khloe looked at him like, what happens? Well, he said to Khloe, what happens if we have another girl? We have to borrow the stuff again. And Khloe was puzzled and said, who's having another baby girl with you? I might get some embryos and get a sibling. I might need to borrow some sperm or get some from you. We'll figure that out later. That's a whole another episode, she said. So, what are your thoughts, Miss Parker? Do you think it'd be a good idea for her to have another child with him, or what are your thoughts?
These kind of questions are really tough for me because I struggle with trying to comment on people's personal lives and their decisions to make their family happy. It's really rich people problems. So I don't really necessarily have an opinion of it. People do it all the time. People use sperm donuts, and if she feels like if they both agree to it, they're both consenting adults, why not? Yeah.
Chike?
I agree with Ms. Parker, but Chike also has to, because I have to say something. It sounds a little messy to me. Just a little bit.
Why you say that?
They've already had mess going on, and I understand that they're better now. But what happens when he gets into a relationship? Who's to say that the chick that he gets into a relationship with is going to be stable enough to handle that? Who's to say that the dude that she's going to get into a relationship can handle that? It's just, I don't know, it's just a little messy.
Naya?
Yeah, it'd be good for TV. I think they should do it. I think that's clickbait. That's what they in it for. So yeah. I think it'd be a good idea if it's their profile. It's her profile for sure. Everything they do is on TV, and everything they do is for the people. For that bread. So
right.
I think it fit right into their scheme.
Well, I think also the fact they already have a child. They already have a child together. You know what I mean? So
right.
I know some women they try to avoid having multiple baby daddies, but
right. So she's trying to keep it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I can see that.
But she's considering it. She's. I guess she's not really. Yeah, it's not really set, but
Right. They didn't say we're gonna do this.
It'd be good.
Yeah. Like you said, it'd be good TV.
Right.
All right, so recently Nicole Ari Parker started to make headlines after a clip of her and Boris' discussion with fellow actor Chris Spencer and his wife Vanessa started to make its rounds as they discussed relationships. Now, in the clip, Nicole talked about missing the freshness and newness of a relationship as she reminisced about the time she and Boris were dating. She said, sometime in the last year or so, I thought, I wish that he was my boyfriend again. I don't necessarily want to be single, but I miss the single life. I miss the text messages for no reason. I miss the coming up behind me while I'm scrambling eggs and just kiss me on my neck. She continued to talk about the freshness and newness that comes with being in a new relationship that led to many people believe that Nicole and Boris may have been having some marital issues. However, Boris shut down those rumors firmly in a statement. He said, "When you can't believe all the quarantine crazy chit chat. Come on, y'all, really? Okay, first of all, y'all are combing on a short clickbait 1 minute slice of hilarious hour-long conversation on our best friend's new show. Second of all, part of this meant to give hope to those who have been together for a long ass time. Third, my wife was right. Boyfriend and girlfriend times matters. Take care of each other, show each other, love each other. Time is not promised." Do you understand what she means, Ms. Park, when she says that she misses the newness of the relationship?
I think that's common sense. I don't think the fact that they had to go back and explain, I think people would drive me crazy. The fact that they have to go back and explain what everyone knows if they've been in a long-term relationship, yes, things does fizzle out. Those who've been together for, 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. It's going to be different. And that's all she was saying, that it is different when you're dating than when you're married. And people who's been in long-term relationships and people who understand that's not something that needs to be explained. And I feel, I kind of feel bad that they had to explain it, because I wouldn't have. I would have just been like, I said what I said, and then we would have had a private conversation because people are just so ignorant. That's common sense that, things fizzle out. And that's all she was saying, that things, you kind of miss that newness of relationship, that excitement, because 10 years in, I'm sure that's not happening anymore. That's just human nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chica?
I somewhat agree with Ms. Parker, but there are some people that actually have not been in relationships long enough to know the course of a relationship. And some people are actually out here thinking that is what it's supposed to be all the time. This is why relationships don't last, some of them, because they're thinking that is what it's about. And when you get some wear and tear on a relationship, other things become priority. Other things move forward, like children, especially like them, because I do believe they have a child who's on the autistic spectrum.
Yeah, they do.
Other things step up, so other things become precedent. And you kind of lose that. And some people really aren't in touch with that. They just want things to be, shiny, brand new all the time. Yeah. I remember I had a friend like that, and she was that way with her husband. And she was contemplating on leaving him because the sparkle wasn't there anymore. But the sparkle is what you make it.
Yeah.
You have to put that in there. It's just not going to be automatic anymore. You have to work at a decent relationship. It's just not going to be happen things. You got to work at it.
Nair?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that, they've been together 15 years, I think.
15 years.
Yeah. They've been together for a long time, and it was probably, they've been married that long at least. They've probably been together longer than that. And I mean, it's hard for people to be in a relationship with themselves without saying, I wish I was the old me, or I miss this part of me,
Yeah.
So I get it. Of course, that's something that you constantly gotta, reinvent. A relationship with yourself, a relationship with your family, a relationship with your spouse. Constantly, you got to reinvent it, and you have to continue to bring the things to it that, you loved about it in the beginning or at some point of the relationship. You got to constantly figure out how to, rehash those feelings and those emotions, and that's important when it comes to, I think, a romantic partnership is super important. I totally get it, and I agree. And he even got behind her and said,
"Right,
my wife is right. Yeah, he said it's just as important for her to be a girlfriend to me too.
Right,
I miss that too.
Exactly.
Let's get to it and on with the show.
Most definitely. Well, our last topic. So Teddy Riley versus Babyface. A lot of celebrities have been doing the online battling on Instagram Live, and so. Teddy Riley and Babyface took to it over the weekend, and apparently Babyface was about 20 minutes late, but once he got going, he was good to go. Teddy Riley and he was by himself, from what I understand. Teddy Riley had a whole band and dressed to the nines and and was going at it, but no one could hear any of his audio. And so they had to reschedule for tonight. Miss Parker, I know you and I were talking about this online not too long ago because you were watching some of it. What's the update for tonight?
Yeah, Teddy really pissed me off on Saturday because we had a little date night planned. But today they got on, like my niece said, oh, people just need to stick to Facebook. So I think they would have been just fine if they went on Facebook Live. They had a hard time on Teddy's Live, so they switched over to Babyface. And then couldn't get everyone online, and it took about 15 minutes to get them going. But I think Teddy had the wrong idea of how things worked, and I think because of his ego, I think that he didn't realize that it wasn't a Teddy Riley and a band show featuring Babyface. So he showed up with all this stuff and paid for all this production when we're supposed to be social distance, and he had about 15 people in there. Just ridiculous. A typical sign of doing the most.
Doing the most.
But they're going. They got going, and things are going out. But I laughed so hard the first 15 minutes today. It was so funny. They're trying to spell out Timberland so they can type it in. It was hilarious.
Chike, did you see this?
I did not. Actually, I believe that when they were going through all that yesterday, I was screening. That's when I was watching the film.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't see any of that. Yeah.
What about you, Naya?
Oh my goodness, me and my boys had a field day with this. That was the most hilarious because I thought I was the only one who saw the humor in it. Of course, I was watching it by myself, so I said, this man got a background dancer, a band, a DJ, a ridiculous hat, a tracksuit. It was just the most ridiculous display I'd seen for a live. I mean, it was funny. It was funny, but I was happy that he was excited about it.
Right.
Babyface is by himself, chilling.
Right. Okay.
Then you got this man with this full-on production, theme music, intro music.
That hype man. What about his hype man?
And that's what took me out of here. When his hype man jumped up and started dancing, bro, I probably almost died of laughing. Crazy.
You can't make this stuff up, y'all. We all go through this quarantine, but yeah, we need to understand social distancing means, and I have a whole band with you. Well, listen, thank you so much for Hot Topics, Miss Parker. Now you have a great week, and Chike, I'll see you in movie reviews.
Thank you.
Sir.
Have a good one.
All right.
Good week, guys.
All right. Right back after this.
I never felt like this before. This life feels incredible. Together we can do anything. So eternal feels like infinity. Baby, I'd run till the end of time just to have you in my life. I'll never let go. Give me your hand, come grab a hold. Let me touch you right to your soul. Let's do it together, make it last forever. Let's let it be for all eternity. Till the ends of the earth, I will follow you, girl. I'll love you forever, forever, forever. Till the ends of the earth, I will follow you, girl. Many girls have come and they have gone, but no one compares to you. Yeah. So baby, I'm trying to make you see our future feels like a fantasy. No doubt. stay. I know you feel the same way. Never let go. Give me your hand, come grab a hold. Let me touch you right to your soul. Let's do it together, make it last forever. Let's let it be for all eternity, till the ends of the earth. I will follow you, girl. Love you forever, forever, forever. Till the ends of the earth, I will follow you, girl. The day I felt to be everything you thought you'd ever need. I love you forever. I love you forever. Girl, I love you forever. I promise I'll always be true. 'Cause can't nobody do it like you. I love you forever. I love you forever. Girl, I love you forever. I love you forever. I'll never let go. Give me your hand, come grab a hold. Let me touch you right to your soul. Let's do it together, make it last forever. Let's let it be for all eternity, till the ends of the earth. I will follow you, girl. Forever, forever, forever. Till the ends of the earth, I will follow you, girl. Forever.
I thought I was enough for you, baby, but I guess I was wrong. What does she got that I ain't got? What can she do that I can't do? I got the beauty and the brains, but love made you go insane, and now you wanna walk away and give all your love away. I put in the time, and you're still not mine. Ooh, you're so stupid. Baby, I'm the baddest. You could have had it. How could you lose me? Baby, I'm the baddest. You could have had it. How could you lose me? Was it worth it? I hope that it was worth it. Please tell me it was worth it. I wanna know, I gotta know, 'cause my stomach is hurting and my heart is aching, and I keep on praying that you are mistaken. Ooh, she can't talk how I talk. She can't walk how I walk. Ooh, how could you lose me? Baby, I'm the baddest. You could have had it. How could you lose me? Baby, I'm the baddest. You could have had it. How could you lose me?
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the First Lady Faith Evans, and you're listening to the Stephen Knight Show.
Last week we aired part one of our panel discussion with therapists and survivors who, where we talked about depression. Tonight we continue the conversation. Take a listen. Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. We have experts and two guests to talk about depression and some of their experiences. So, Diamond, you were talking about self-care, how important self-care is. Can you weigh in on that?
So, I was saying that with myself, I've noticed certain things that trigger me, and I have to be aware of those things and really, really understand that how my mind is engaging, how my body is reacting to it, and then the emotions I'm having from those triggers and the decisions, the actions I'm taking from that. So with this pandemic, people need to be aware of, how what they see, hear, and our experience is how is affecting them physically and mentally, and the decisions that it's causing them to take. One thing is social media is huge right now because it's our only sense of connection with other people, especially if, you live by yourself or you are, an empty nester or, you don't have people in the home. Social media is like your only real contact with other people, but you have to be mindful that and create an environment that's healthy. A healthy environment that's going to feed your spirit or feed your mind and not, just be triggering with trauma or, the stuff that we know is going on. So with videos and updates and all that other stuff, to be knowledgeable is one thing, but the overload can has caused for me, like just emotional triggers. Me working in the medical field also, so I have medical knowledge about what's going on. And so I had to decompress and I had to distance myself from social media because it's an overload of triggers. So just be mindful of you, get the knowledge, but know that there's a limit. Limit yourself from the exposure to that, and be mindful of your feelings and emotions, and that especially the actions you take based off of your emotions.
Most definitely.
I tell everyone that your emotions are a part of the human process, but how you process them and how you act out on them will cause either a benefit or a deficiency in your life.
Most definitely. I agree. I actually have a therapist myself, and I've been seeing her for about 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And, obviously with the social distancing and everything, we did a FaceTime appointment last week. And she was asking me how am I coping with, this pandemic and, staying at home and quarantine, all that. And I told her I felt fine. Of course I don't like it, but it is what it is. I've just accepted it. And then she said, do I feel anxious about it? And I said, no, I don't feel any kind of anxiety. But I noticed that was on Wednesday. Last Friday, I was watching the news and my leg kept shaking the whole time. And I noticed that. I know for me, I've had to take a break from the news. Like I love watching the news, but I know on the weekends I don't touch it. What do you think, Norwood, the effect of taking in too much information, especially as it's evolving and ever changing? What can be a negative effect of taking in just too much information as it relates to COVID-19?
Well, I think earlier I talked a little bit about balance.
Yeah.
And this whole situation feels very unbalanced. People feel because it is happening so rapidly. People, it's very unpredictable, which goes against what people need. And one of the things, and it takes away our sense of control. When we are, and this goes for me, I'm saying we as if I'm not a part of the we, and I am, is that if I am only focusing on one thing, I can't see everything else around me. And right now we are being bombarded over and over and over again with messaging, not only about COVID-19, which is a virus.
Right.
But much of the conversation that we're hearing is not about the 4 basic things that we can all do to keep ourselves and help our community members, which is, the washing our hands, using hand sanitizer, the physically distancing, not touching our face, and that sort of thing. What we're hearing is, over and over again, the numbers of people who are being tested, but they're not saying tested. They're saying this many number of people have it today. Well, we know that that's a fact. We know that that's a fact because they just started testing.
Right, exactly.
but it's not put in context. One of the things that I'm very mindful of is that I try to make sure that I'm listening to the right folks.
Yeah.
And I weed out the rest. So I'm listening to the CDC report, and I'm listening to the World Health Organization report. And what they've said is the same 4 things. And the rest of it, I just do. And that allows me to have the opportunity and freedom to do the things that keep me balanced and safe. Like, listening to music. If I'm noticing, because it's normal to feel anxious during anxious times, it's absolutely an appropriate response when there's a lot of anxiety in the world to feel anxious. Doing things like exercising, moving my body, being mindful of what I'm eating, drinking water, avoiding substances that are going to alter my thinking or my decision making, meditating. One of the greatest, I had the greatest story. I was speaking to a elderly woman that goes to my church, and she lives in a retirement community, and so she had missed church because of they had a quarantine on the area where she lived, and so she had an iPhone, so I FaceTimed her, and she didn't even know what that was. She was like, "Why is my phone ringing like this?" And she pushed the button, and she saw. She's like, "Oh my!" She's like, "Oh my gosh, a familiar face."
Yeah.
And so we spend so much time on social media disconnecting when we can utilize the same technology to connect.
Exactly.
Through, and so things like this, actually having a conversation, actually. Asking, but one of the things I found really fascinating about this time is that I've had to slow down in a lot of areas where I'm so used to being on overdrive, and I'm actually taking the time to start breathing and continue meditating and actually looking around and saying, hey, I actually have time. I actually have some space.
Yeah.
Now, I know that is not the case for everybody. Not everybody has the same level of privilege and opportunity and mobility. And I think that also provides opportunity for those of us that do have that opportunity to begin to think about things like equity and how do we continue to share with others through a variety of activities that we can do, which also gives us something to do away from the negative messaging.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Majid, what are things people can do? Say someone listening tonight, and they do struggle with depression. What's something they can do during this time of quarantine and isolating ourselves? What is something that they can do during this period?
Well, I think one good way to take quality care of yourself when you are feeling depressed is to, like Norwood was saying, take a moment, slow down, sit down, take a good, honest look at yourself, and just be real and honest with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
That compassion, that kindness that we want to extend to each other. We also need that for ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how can how is that happening if we're sitting there saying, I'm not supposed to be feeling this way?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more helpful to say, right now, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling too great.
Yeah.
And I could be feeling better. And I think that's more of a compassionate look at yourself and a compassionate way to respond to yourself. And then also to set realistic expectation of yourself. Sometimes it's not realistic for you to say, you know what, I'm supposed to be happy right now, or I'm supposed to be. It's not realistic to expect yourself to be happy all the time.
Yes, true.
It's perfectly okay to say to yourself, I just want to feel better. I just want to feel okay for today.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dominic, what would be your best advice for maybe someone who doesn't, who hasn't battled depression, but to prevent going down that road during this pandemic? What can we do to prevent that from happening to us?
I didn't catch all of your question. What can we do to prevent the downfall?
Prevent, I don't suffer from depression, but what can I do? Because again, we're all anxious. We're all hearing the death tolls and all that. What can I do to prevent myself from falling into a depressed mode or depression?
I actually define depression as one of the clinical ones. Of depression is sadness over a period of time.
Okay.
So I think we all experience a level of depression.
Mm-hmm.
Some are more severe than others, but with this going on, finding healthy coping mechanisms, really learning yourself and what you like to do, and being okay with yourself.
Okay.
Or finding different outlets, writing, journaling. Some people are into this coloring thing now, so they have adult coloring books, puzzle books, or just doing the walks, as the therapist has said. You can FaceTime, you can text. Just social distancing doesn't mean you can't see people,
exactly.
But it's just staying in a safe environment, in a safe distance from people. So the human connection is very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very real, but finding something that gets your endorphins up to versus, you know what I mean? Stay busy, stay active, and definitely, talk, be creative. I mean, there's so many things, but it's like identifying what works for you, because what works for you may not work for somebody else.
Right.
It's all about, for me, really being in tune with me. And again, I'm big on hotline numbers. Some people don't have anybody,
right.
They may not have done the work or even acknowledge that the depression does exist in them. This is my normal, as Michelle has said. In certain cultures, depression is not something that certain cultures actually believe in. So the acknowledgement that something's just not right and I need to do something, just being able to acknowledge that something's not right. I'm getting restless. I'm sleeping all the time. And, some people just don't have the education to know what depression is, or know that it's danger signs happening all around them. But with this seclusion or isolation, in a sense, from the world that we have known it to be, it's a drastic change. It's traumatic for everyone. It's a traumatic thing for everyone, and it's interrupted your daily life function. And we have to cope and create a temporary way of living with no end date in sight.
Mm-hmm.
That alone gives your blood pressure a rise. Gives you anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're dealing with finances or kids or your plans being canceled. It's a lot. So getting around the right information and then acknowledging that something's not right, because your body can't live in that fight or flight situation for a long period of time. So you want to acknowledge that, I got some anxiety going on, whatever terms you want to put in it, but this isn't my normal. This isn't good for me. I need to figure out how I can, feel safe and feel okay, even in this world when there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of fear.
Yes. And what would you all say to families who, if you're isolated with your family, you're not used to spending 15 days without a break, with each other, and parents having to step in as a substitute teacher for their kids and, create those new normals. What's the best thing you would recommend for families that are experiencing this together in the same household?
This is more what I was going to say. Thank you, Donna, for talking about the hotline. By the way, I was going to bring that up for people. But I also think about, we are really in spaces where we typically are not. Finding a space. I think about people who may be living in one or two rooms, and even designating a space. This is my space in the corner, and when I go to that space, I need to be left alone. Everybody, while we all connect, we also need privacy to connect with ourselves. We need time to have that, to have that time for ourselves. And when we don't, and we often take that for granted that we can separate as well as come together. But I think about that as I think about honoring, when we, as we honor connection, we also honor the ability to connect even across distances. That's part of the reason why I use that term. And even in smaller confined spaces, we have to be able to say, hey, I can create a healthy boundary, even in a small space, to allow you to have your time. I have some families that and I do it myself. I take 15, 20 minutes and I say, this is my time. I'm going to separate myself, and I may just go to the kitchen and sit in the chair, or and there may be other people moving to the kitchen, but when I'm sitting in the chair, this is my time.
Yeah.
And can we honor that? I think the other piece is so important because what we're really dealing with is a limitation of time, space, and mobility. But I also, as I think about folks who are already experiencing difficulty with connection, that I really do honor just how much energy they have to put into just a day where there's not these restrictions. And so to really bring emphasis to the importance of knowing, of a safety plan, which also includes really identifying that one or two people that I can connect with, that person that is going to be able to listen to me and not even give me advice, but just allow me to speak. For many people who have lived in the shame or the hiding that depression can create, it takes immense courage to just speak about, I feel differently than I would like to feel. And to be able to have identify folks that whether it's a hotline, the hotline folks are great, counselors are great, my doctor is great, my best friend is great. Some people don't have a best friend. Sometimes, and even to be able to just sit and journal and write and talk to yourself, and having that 15 minutes of time to do that throughout the day begins to give that opportunity to express and begin to connect in different ways.
Most definitely. Thank you for that. Lachelle and Chike, two people who have battled depression in the past, what are you all doing during this time to prevent yourselves from personally going there? Lachelle, let's start with you.
For myself, I just take the time to, listen to music or just go outside. I enjoy going outside, seeing sunrises and the sunset, and I enjoy nature. So I like to sit on my patio and just listen to the birds.
Yeah.
And I'm a photographer as well, so I try to do a little bit of that, my creative side.
Yes.
I just tap into that as well. And call my friends, have conversations with people. We got to check on our strong friends.
We definitely do. We definitely do. Yes. Chike, what about you?
So, in general, for me, I create a buffer of positivity for myself. So it's like when you're driving and you need to stay 2 car spaces behind the car in front of you, just in case something happens, you have that space to maneuver. So I do that with myself as far as positivity. I'm probably, I don't know if there's such a term, but I'm extra positive when it comes to things. I'm always looking at the silver lining. I'm always giving someone, optimism. And that's the space that I have to live in for my own survival. And I'm starting to notice, I've been noticing for a while that it also affects other people. It's infectious. So, of course, I live in that space, and I also fancy myself as an amateur comedian. So I'm always trying to make people laugh in some way, degree, no matter what the circumstances are. I'm always trying to put a jab in there or make people smile just to give them a little something to, break the ice. it's almost like if anyone out there is a Marvel fan, and if you know about Magneto, he creates this bubble of magnetism around himself as a shield to be able to do what he does. And that's what I do with positivity. For example, at work, you know, having to deal with what we're dealing with in the medical field, people are anxious. People are upset. They're scared. And it lends itself to be toxic at work if you allow it to.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing since this thing has been started, I've been taking like dips into work and dips out because I have the time to be able to do it. So I'm like 3 days on, maybe 3 days off, just so that I don't get bogged down with it. But because I have a platform, thank you, Stephen Knight, for allowing me to be a part of this show, but because I have a platform and I have a voice, it now allows for me to take this to do something for other people. So just recently, I don't know if anyone has seen on social media, I put up this post about some of the nurses that I worked with, and I made a collage. And just me making that collage and paying homage to those nurses and what they do for the hospital sent this wave of positivity throughout my whole department and at work and through the medical, you know, Penn Medicine medical community, because it was something of positive nature. It was thanking them for their service, which, you know, in the day-to-day throes of the battle, they're not getting that. They're just like, handle this, do that, make this happen. So it was good to see that just something that small that I could do with the voice that I have did something for the masses, for the people in the medical community. That's how I have to live.
Most definitely. I think this is a very important conversation. What I want to do, I want to go back to the panel just one last time, and again, just give you a summary of what you want people to take away from this conversation from your perspective. So I'll start with you, Norwood Coleman.
Yeah, I guess just simply what I think is, what I hope people will take away from this is that, you know, no one has to be stronger than the next, that we are able to gently connect with ourselves, connect with each other, and that, you know, we don't go through life or depression or any other experience alone, and that just the simple act of reaching out to another person to say, hey, will you have the strength to listen to my story, is where we begin with, you know, battling depression and other things, and moving beyond the sense of anxiety and depression into a place where healing can begin.
I'm glad that. I like that. All right, Maja Sharga, what's your takeaway?
Yes, that nobody is exempt from the human condition. You know, as long as we're all human beings, we all are going to have a similar range of emotions, of experiences. What varies is how each of us communicate or express those experiences. But by just keeping in mind that we are all part of the human condition, and by nature we are resilient, and whatever we are experiencing, whatever sort of distress we have, just to keep in mind that it is possible for it to pass, and for you to find a way to be okay again.
Thank you for that. And Sherelle Diamond Hogans, first tell us about the magazine one more time, and then tell us your takeaway.
I Matter magazine is utilized to empower people from the inside out. So there is a women's magazine, and we just launched the male magazine, and I wanted each gender to be specific about their target audience. So I didn't want men tripping over or having to, you know, leaf through the 1,000 pages for women and, you know, women's stuff. So, and I figured that it would be a better design if men spoke to men. And if the whole magazine was about men and, you know, empowering men, then they'll be more likely to pick it up, to read it, to start conversations about things that we all go through in our everyday life. We all need tools to help us navigate through this journey called life. We were not given a manual.
Exactly.
You know, we try to do the best with what we have. And what I've noticed, what I know for sure, tying in the depression or mental wellness, is that it tends to isolate us, like it's only us, that we're the only ones going through this on this level, and no one else understands. And we have to be, you know, we're always striving as people to be, you know, not better than other people, but just to be successful in life. We want to be successes. You know, we've seen some people who have not been successes for whatever reasons, and we all go through different levels of trauma in our life. A loss of a pet, a loss of a parent, a loss of a job. But how we manage that will help. It will help determine our next stage in life, in a sense. You know, so we have to be able to manage that well. My takeaway for the listeners and even people a part of this show is it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay not to be perfect in every moment. It's okay not to feel okay. But you are not alone. There's always someone to talk to, and that's what I wanted to be able to tell people, that, you know, either if you have a support system, but there's a national hotline number that's 24/7, that if you feel like you have no one to talk to, that there are licensed, trained people who are available to you 24 hours a day, no matter what time frame you are in, that you can always reach out. And sometimes the higher you go up professionally, the more you can seem like prideful, or, you know, people think that you shouldn't be going through this, or you may not want to dispose. You're not at that stage where you want to or can dispose your inner feelings, because sometimes we can't even put them into words. To people around you, that it may be safer and more therapeutic to reach out to a stranger who cannot identify you personally, so that you can keep your autonomy, but you can also be able to relay your feelings. And just be mindful, this is just not happening to us as adults, but it's happening to young-minded children whose brain has not developed, and they have not fully developed, and they don't know really how to cope effectively, and most likely are being raised in unstable homes that do not have the parents do not have the tools to be able to unpack this and navigate through this. So if you don't mind, I want to give the hotline number.
Please do.
Of 1-800-273-TALK, TALK, and that number is 8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. And there's also a Spanish option also for people who speak other languages. So just know that it's okay to not be okay. And I tell myself that all the time. It's okay not to be okay. I seem to be an overachiever, and I'm always battling myself and trying to better my last win. But that's my internal struggle. But it's okay not to be okay. But know that you are not alone. There are thousands, millions of people who deal with this on multiple levels. But there's always someone to talk to. And as the magazine says, I matter, you matter. You matter to someone. You matter even to a stranger, because we know what it's like to be in that moment and not feel like you have any options or feel helpless, and that no one will understand, or you can't even articulate what you are feeling. We get it. You know, there are other people who have been in that moment, but there is hope and help available.
Absolutely.
And where can you go to get the magazine? Where can you get the magazine?
Oh, the magazine is available at publications.com. So that's RAD as in dog, IK as in king, AL, publications.com.
Thank you so much for that. And LaShawn Jackson, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is that I would like us to break the stigma that comes with depression or mental illness. It's nothing to be ashamed about. If you have battled it and you have overcome, or you're still dealing with it, speak your truth. You know, share your story. We are overcomers by our testimonies. And I think when you speak on it, others will say, hey, I did not know. I, too, deal with this. How did you overcome? How did you get over the depression? How did you get over your mental illness? So that's my takeaway that I would like for others to take hold of. Break the stigma and the shame and share your story. Speak your truth.
Amen. Thank you so much for speaking your truth and telling your story. Chike Evans, and you can go ahead and tell us what your takeaway is.
So my takeaway is probably advice that, I would get for myself. And it's that basically you matter, and you're not in this alone. Reach out to someone, and also be a warrior for your own life. Mm-hmm. Stand up for yourself and reach out and speak to someone, seek help, or even help someone else. But be a warrior, because the better I am, the better you are, the better you are, the better we are. We're in this together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. I want to thank all my guests tonight for joining us, whether it be the experts or the people sharing their stories. This is a very important conversation, especially everything we have going on. I wish you all the best and keep doing all the great work you're doing. And for more information about our guests tonight, you can go to our website at StephenKnightShow.com. We'll be right back after this.
You didn't know, drip sauce, it's all on me. Anyway, get a taste, get your tie, wipe your face, you got the sauce, it's dripping on me. It's all on me. Get beef, get taste. And I know you look good, but I'm dripping. Picture me rolling in my 500 bins with the drop top showing off for your friends. And you looking good in your lip gloss, know them lips soft, look good, dripping while we get lost. And if I had you by my side, I know I'd never lose. Got me losing my mind, looking at you. And I know you look good, but I'm dripping so sick. Hey, you know how we dripping, you know how we dripping. Coding what we sipping, you know how we sipping. Diamonds on my women, diamonds on my children. My watch and my bracelets, that's $250,000. She don't like to listen, baby, so resilient. But she know I'm cunning, she know that I'm brilliant. My bank roll 100, but that's just some lush. I spend that on backwards, I spend that on lush. 100 is your heart, like, boy, you know that's real. And I know you look good, but I'm tripping so sick. You didn't know, drip sauce, it's all on me. Anyway, get a taste, get your tie, wipe your face, you got the sauce, it's dripping on me. It's all on me. Get beef, get taste. Splicker, splash, 200 on my dash, beast mode up by my cash. Yeah, I'm fiending for nothing, gotta be for that cornbread stuffing. Billie Jean when she walking, man she mean when she walking. Beat that monkey up good, shawty out line talking. Say shawty, I ain't just talking, I'm an overdrive and retarded. That's my liberal city, bitch. I've been by getting it, man. She more wanna pick up on her, let it throw that look really on her. That's my weapons when I'm on her, some cigar, pillow when I'm on her. Got my own bag of Italian, cut the cup on my body, Tupac, Machiavelli and me. Just Louis all up on me. We live from 7 to 3 a.m. You know I'm dripping hot sauce all on the 2 to a.m. When I jump in that whip, it tell that rubber cause the really don't give a shit. Moonwalking all in these, my 50 grand and up on my wrist. This cold with a little bit of hit. But I'm dripping so sick. You didn't know, drip sauce, it's all on me. Anyway, get a taste, get your tie, wipe your face, you got the sauce, it's dripping on me.
City, look here, say, look, smoking tighter flavors, fresh up off them pipers, I got OG and they owe me favors, I never turn my back up on the trap that made us, The hustle with no handouts, that's what they gave us, That ain't saw me, now you can see me, Disappear, reappear, like Aladdin genie, Say them diamonds shine, them diamonds gleam, All black phantom Batman, Michael Keaton, Boy, I'm good with them toys. Ay, Morgan Freeman. Ay, Scarface, Al Pacino. Ay, Willie Beeman. Came a long way from doing shit. Slick and scheming. Praying daily with my team. Ay, in agreement.
You didn't know. You didn't know me. Big sauce. It's all on me. Anyway, get a taste. Get your time. Wipe your face. And cap the sauce. It's dripping on me. It's all on me. Get deep. Get a taste. And I know you look good, but I'm dripping sauce. Hey.
Why you keep loving me wrong? I'm tired, and I'm moving on. You feel me, no, I'm like a bum. Stop loving me wrong. Why you keep loving me wrong? I'm tired, and I'm moving on. You feel me, no, I'm like a bum. Stop loving me. I was with you, but living a lie. I was giving you life. You were loving me wrong for a while. You were cheating but standing in aisle. You're loving me wrong, you're loving me fake. Stop feeling my head and feeling my tank. Ain't I was so dumb to stay in the fence, cause I was so lost and stuck in your maze. Stuck in the sex, was stuck in the love. I let you dishonor my name and my love. I let you dishonor my pride like a fool. Denying myself just so I could choose you. I was with you but living a lie. I was giving you life. You were loving me wrong for a while. You were cheating but standing in aisle. Why you keep loving me? You're loving me wrong. You're leading me on. You gotta stop loving me. Stop loving me wrong. You're loving me wrong. You're leading me on. You gotta stop loving me. Stop loving me wrong. You were fake and foul and wasted out. I can, I will, I won't allow you to change my soul or change my sound. So carry the bed that you slept around. You crept around when there's no doubt. STDs distributed out. You sold me a novel, then wrote me out. I cannot, I will not, I won't allow. Why you keep loving me wrong? I'm tired, so I'm moving on. You feel me, no, I'm like a bomb. Stop loving me wrong. Why you keep loving me fake? I've been wrote you off, you're fucking replaced. And this is the end of the song for the fake. Stop loving the ones who will love you. I was with you but living a lie. I was giving you life. Yeah. You were loving me wrong for a while. You were cheating but standing in denial. You gotta stop loving me.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how is week 6? Week 6 going into quarantine. How's that going?
It's going okay. You know, we're still making the best of it. As you saw from Instagram, still eating good. So,
you know. Good over
there. Well, you know, support local, right? So we got to keep our favorite restaurants around if we can. So, but it's been fine. How about you?
Making the most of it. I've been trying to at least 3 times a week try to support the local restaurants as well. But yeah, Georgia.
Well, you guys are about to reopen. I heard your governor said you guys are good to go.
I'm not reopening.
yeah, that's a wise decision because I don't think any of that makes sense.
None of it makes sense. Well, listen, I'll let you and Chike take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I want to start with a double feature, but the first movie I saw this weekend or this past week was Richard Jewell. And this is a movie I talked about back in December when it was coming out. And it is a movie that follows the story of the security guard at the 1996 Olympics that
identified the bomb that eventually became the Centennial Park bombing and the aftermath of what happened to his life afterwards. And it's based on a true story with true events. And for anyone unfamiliar, when this happened, he was regarded as a hero. He did all these interviews, and then like 3 days later, the media turned on him because the FBI thought he was actually the prime suspect, and the media surrounded him, hounded him, essentially ruined his life during this time period until we, come to the conclusion, and it's in real life, that he wasn't the prime suspect. They actually caught the real guy several years later, and it just follows kind of that whole outcome. And it's directed by Clint Eastwood. It stars actually a lot of big actors, Sam Rockwell, John Hamm, Olivia Wilde, Paul Walter Hauser plays Richard Jewell. And overall, I thought it was pretty good. If you're looking for, and I'll say this with the note that, of course, growing up in the Atlanta area, this was kind of a big deal at the time. I did go to the Olympics, and this whole incident happening was a little more relevant to me. But I thought they did a good job, and definitely something, if you're looking for kind of a change of pace, a different drama, check it out. I will say, you kind of know where it's going. It's based on true events, so there's going to be this whole turning on him, but then it getting resolved. So you're not getting much of a kind of a climactic ending, but definitely recommend. And again, Clint Eastwood did such a good job of recreating the experience during the 1996 Olympic bombing that it's pretty immense. So again, check it out if you're looking for something different. We rented it on Amazon, and that's where you can find it. Cool. The next film I did was actually a movie that I've never seen that's been around for a very long time, and it's called To Kill a Mockingbird. And I actually even never read the book, so I knew not much about this story, but for anyone familiar, this is a film classic, and it's the story of Atticus Finch, this lawyer in the South, in Alabama in the 1930s, and he is defending a black man against a rape charge. And it's from the perspective of his daughter, called Scout, and her going on and learning about the world and what's happening in this time period during these events. And it stars Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch, and it still holds up. This movie came out in 1962. It is black and white, so I will warn anyone in the audience, if you're not used to that kind of film, or if you're not used to kind of the slow pace of earlier films. But there is a reason this book and this movie is rated as one of the best movies of all times, and you can really feel the power of the message it gives. And again, this is a time period where you have a man trying to do what he can in unjust times, and the effect that it has on his children. So highly recommend. You can find that on Amazon as well. And that's it.
Well, I want to shout out to Mr. Clint Eastwood for being in his silver years and still out here directing and producing and doing the thing. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, he's got to be close to 100, but I don't know. yeah.
And I think that last movie that I saw, The Mule, I think that's what it was. I think that was the name of it, where he was the drug mule. That was awesome, and he acted in that one. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man still has it. All these years, he still has it. So I saw a film called Bad Therapy. It stars Alicia Silverstone, Rob Corddry, Michaela Watkins, and Aisha Tyler. Before I go into the description of this movie, there's something that we didn't talk about in our panel discussion about pursuing a therapist, because it's related to this movie. It's okay for you not to bond or connect with the first therapist that you pick. You should shop around. Mm-hmm. You should, as if you would choose a doctor. You need to choose, your therapist. If there's an uneasy feeling, you don't feel right with the therapist, go see another. See 2, 3, 4, 5 more. Make sure it's a comfortable fit for you. With that being said, That's not what happened in this movie. Aisha Tyler's character is friends with Alicia Silverstone's character, and she talks about that she's in therapy. Her and her husband are in therapy. And Alicia Silverstone's character decides that her and her husband should go see a therapist too. There's nothing wrong, but then there's nothing also wrong with tuning up, just checking in to make sure things are okay. And she does, and I'll give you this tidbit. The therapist has an eye for her husband, and you can take it from there. This movie is a dark comedy. I laughed. I was shocked at some of the things, the unethical behavior. I couldn't even imagine going to go see a therapist, and they're getting in your head and systematically tearing your life apart. Go check it out. It's hilarious. It came up by surprise. I had no idea about this movie. It just popped up. And I was like, oh, okay, I haven't seen Alicia Silverstone in a while. And I do like Rob Corddry because he's in Ballers. And I loved him in that. He's hilarious. And I haven't seen Aisha Tyler in anything since forever. So I was like, hey, why not? It was a gem. I suggest watching it. It's hilarious. And like I said, it's a dark comedy, so it deals with some serious issues as it relates to marriage and personal growth. And it kind of gets, the doctor kind of exposes certain things. But at the same time, like I said, it's hilarious. I would definitely check it out. The other thing, this gem of a thing that I fell upon, Stephen, I don't know if you had an opportunity to check out Black AF.
Yes, I'm on episode 5 or 6 right now.
OMG, I'm done. I'm like, I breezed through it.
Yeah.
Kenya Barris, who also brought you Grownish, Blackish, all the ish shows on ABC. He's the writer and creator of those shows. He writes and created Black AF, and the AF stands for as fuck. So many levels that this show is brilliant, and it's because it's shot as a reality show, but it's also a sitcom at the same time. And he has a way of bringing the reality show element to the sitcom. And it basically does everything that reality shows do. So if you think about reality shows, most of them are actually commercials, if you really look at it. If you really think about it. They're always peddling some type of product. 9 times out of 10, it's the product of the people that are involved in the reality show. They're either starting businesses, or they have a product that they want to push, or they have an agenda that they want to get across to the viewers. And so with this reality show, he is promoting and pushing high-end labels, high-end fashion, gadgets, anything of decadence he's pushing. And it's basically about his life after he makes it in Hollywood and the behind the scenes of what he has to deal with being black behind the curtain. And he's raising his family. His family is hilarious. It also stars Rashida Jones. Rashida Jones, she used to be on The Office, and also Quincy Jones' daughter, who does a phenomenal job in this. Everybody is hilarious.
Everybody's good.
The kids are hilarious. Everybody is excellent in this show. And one of the things that I do appreciate about a show like this, I love the educational portion, because he has a way of educating you without shoving it down your throat. And he also introduces talent that we may not know to a new audience. He's always there's some surprise guests.
Yeah, I love the cameos.
Surprised by some of the people that drop in, and you can tell in real life that these are friends of his for real, and they happen to drop in on the show as themselves in his life.
Yeah.
So I can't rave about this show enough. I can't.
You know who surprised me? Tyler Perry.
OMG, like really, like Tyler Perry gets really real.
We saw a sign you've never seen before.
Listen, there was a point in time where I said Tyler Perry's best role to me was the role that he played in Gone Girl, because I really don't care for Tyler Perry's acting. But in Gone Girl, I was like, oh wow, he did an awesome job. No, this is the best Tyler Perry I've seen on screen ever.
Yes. No, I thought it was really. At first I I started watching it, I think last night, and I was kind of but the more I watched it, the more I really fell in love with it. And I'm really like
So I will say this. And I'm in agreement with you on that, Steven.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, it was a little off-putting because it was like the whole reality show part.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, I don't understand it. And it's like slow-moving gears. It starts off slow, and then when you start to catch on
Now
and
I'm
you see how it's moving, it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow. And then, after you laugh a lot, then you're hooked.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so I really like it. I love the characters that play his children, or the actors that play his children, especially the girl who's recording the reality show.
Oh my gosh, she's so good. She's so
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I think it's really like at first I was like, okay, but the more I'm watching it, I'm like, especially by episode 3, it's like, okay, I can't wait to finish this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if you're a fan of Kenya Barris and you like his shows and you love what he's done with his writing and the creation of his characters, it's not quite like those shows, but then in the same breath, it is like those shows.
Right.
Because it basically is his life. It's the same kind of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know. And he's making a lot of fun of himself.
Yeah, he is.
A lot of fun of himself and his family.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot, too. I didn't know that we're going to get a girl strip, too, for real. And he also is writing for Coming to America. You find that out in the show, too. So, yeah, check it out. Some gems are going to be dropped in this show. Check it out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's all I have for now. Oh, yeah. Steven, did you watch Insecure?
I did. A lot of people didn't really care for this episode. They didn't think too much.
Really?
Anything really. Not that they didn't care for it, but not much happened. But I just love the show. And I love, people are really starting to question Molly. They're starting to see the issue. She's a little jealous.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But let me ask you this.
So,
let me ask you this. So, Issa Rae's character, she finds out that her friend, her new friend and business partner, is dating her ex. Of course, they didn't know. Neither of them knew. And Molly's issue is, why are you maintaining a friendship with this girl? It's like you're creating drama in your life. Do you think you'd be able to maintain a friendship with someone that you knew was dating your ex?
Okay, so this was a subject at work, and my coworkers did not agree with my disposition. My disposition is that new friend, although she's connected to her ex, they're dating. This new friend also symbolizes growth. It also the new friend also symbolizes a path to a future. The new friend also is a networking anchor for her to be able to pivot off of and have a better life for herself. So in relation to that, your ex is an ex for a reason. They have their own relationship. I'm going to have this relationship with you as it relates to our business and not let that affect me. And then so I had a lot of people going back over and looking at the episode again and then changing their mindset. Because at some point in time, you have to be an adult.
Right.
Certain people that live in urban cities, like I live in Philadelphia. Philadelphia's dating pool is small.
Yeah.
You're going to overlap each other at some point in time.
That's what
Atlanta is a big little city. Atlanta is a big little city. The same thing happens there.
Yeah.
We're going to run into each other.
That's what Ms. Parker was
You're
saying.
going to have to be mature. Yeah, you got to be mature and rise up.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
yeah,
with that
sounds
being
like
said,
they shouldn't be so insecure.
Go ahead, Adam.
I was waiting for my moment to put that in there.
So I have to drop a gem. I've been in talks with Mr. Prentice Penny through email, and he has agreed to do the show. We're just trying to solidify a date. So
awesome.
Got something good coming up. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, guys, as always, thank you for letting us know what to spend our time on and what not to. Stay safe, and talk again next week.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right, right back after this.
Let's stand on our favorite song. The things we did last summer.
I'm feeling so soulful tonight. I'm feeling so hopeful tonight.
They ask me why I walk like this, talk like this. I reply, I grew up like this. 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid. Now get them up high, now get them hands high. Don't ever say we can never be royals. My pen's attached to the notebooks like coils. I can't explain, but I know my heart is in the right place. Feeling like Tom because everyone's in my space. Jerry writes a rap, oh, I got the illest route. Haters going down, cause your life's a drought. So you wanna bring me down, but it ain't gon' happen. I got the heart of a lion, I done formed an alliance. Consistently grinding, found reaction keeps rising. They're so astonished at the level my mind's in. Won't let anyone down, I'm a man about promises. So heartbreak thermometer, set fire like Hanukkah. Bring the shock like Blanca, Hakuna Matata. I got a team down slaughter. You're lying on the throne, but no Mufasa. Me no imposter, so all I see is food, red lobster. I'm feeling so soulful tonight. I'm feeling so hopeful tonight. They ask me why I walk like this, talk like this. I reply, I grew up like this. 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid, 90s kid. Now get them up high, now get them hands high.
Confidence, it's about to get ominous. I'ma get in the monument, I'm a rip type of dominance for a bit. Like dominoes, I is falling, it's vominos to the end. Impossible with my missions, it weighed on me as a kid. Halakaki, paparazzi probably love me when I'm in. I'm always talking, no filter like a pic on Instagram. In Japan, I ain't never set a foot on foreign land. Call me a mogul, I'm just trying to keep it hopeful for my fans. Homie from the UK, so my music get him past audible. When he feels it's audible, it's a casket. Man, what you know about that? I ain't T.I., but all the real music's coming back and I can see why. Cause everybody's got a story, not a criminal mind. Don't nobody really wanna live a miserable life. A voice told me, boy, for you, I hand sculpted this ride. It's 8-9 till infinity, but 90s I thrive.
Yeah. Yo, what y'all know about that Surge? What y'all know about that Sega? What you know about the real Ninja Turtles? You know what I'm saying? What you know about them Jinko jeans? Yo, hit me up with your 90s memory at AJ Skills 1 on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Positive vibes only. Positive vibes only. I just chill, baby. I said I just chill, baby. And I'm gone.
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Janera, how's it going? Week 5, I think.
It's going. It is. Oh my God! We completed week 5, I think. Now we're entering week 6.
Oh, week 6! Wow, it's going by so fast. Yeah.
Yes.
How's
it
going in the household?
Oh my goodness! Oh, we just need to. This boy needs a friend. We're trying our hardest, but he needs a friend.
Oh, well, I know you got some wonderful things for you, so I'll let you go ahead and take it away.
I do, and I just want to stress that, again, COVID is, basically making us all stay indoors.
Yeah.
And Mother's Day is right around the corner, so if you guys, if you guys are still in the market for Mother's Day gifts, these sales may appeal to you. So, just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with Nordstrom Rack. They are having a sale event on Frame, which is a designer brand, and Kendra Scott jewelry and home items. And Kendra Scott is, for me anyway, it's pretty expensive for me. I don't know about for everybody, but I can say $50, $60 for a piece of costume jewelry. It's just out of my price range. But they are, Nordstrom Rack is having a sale event for them. So they're having the sale event on all types of frame clothing items. So those have been discounted. Plus, you can get an extra 20% off of Kendra Scott jewelry and home items if you're looking for anything for a special mother in your life. Express is having a sale, and if you shop right now, you can get an extra 40% off the clearance items for a total savings of up to 60%. And you can get 40% off of regular priced items. Gap is deeply discounting everything, and if you shop there now, you can get up to 75% off of everything in their store or online these days. Gap Factory is also having a sale, and if you shop there now, you can get an extra 40% off of all of their clearance items. J. Crew is having a sale on their linen shop, and if you shop there now, you can get up to 60% off of the items in their linen shop. Now, keep in mind, J. Crew is already expensive, and linen is usually, kind of pricey as well. So, that's kind of a deal for J. Crew. Kate Spade, they're still having a great sale going on, and if you shop there now, you can get up to 75% off of everything. Banana Republic, this is probably my favorite sale of the week, and I actually did get a couple of things from Banana Republic. They're having a sale, and if you shop there now, you can get an extra 60% off of all of their clearance items. Plus, you can get up to 60% off of everything else. So that's 60% off of an extra 60% off of their clearance items. Plus, you can get up to 60% off of everything else. Old Navy is also having a sale, and today is the last day. You can get 40% off of everything, including their clearance items. Plus, you can get free shipping on all orders of $25 or more. BCBG Max Asia is having a sale, and if you shop there now, you can get 30% off of everything, an extra 30% off of everything, and that includes clearance as well as regular price items. Well, they don't say clearance, they say sale, but it's pretty much their clearance items. All the stuff that's on sale are their clearance items. And last but not least, New York & Company is having a great sale, and if you shop there now, you can get 50% off of everything, and that also includes their clearance items. Plus, you can get free shipping on all orders of $50 or more.
Nice. A lot of good sales. And they can find all that at jengenuine.com, correct?
Yep, they surely can.
All right, well, here's to week 6, and I hope you have a good one.
Oh, I hope you do too, Steven.
Thank you. We'll be right back after this.
She in love with diamonds, it's true. Let's just keep it real. I can tell you how it, baby. What's up with you? Tell me how you feel. Cause when it all comes down to it, babe, they can't love you like I do, no. Who knew it? Now we gotta get past this part. Only real love should be in your heart. If that's what you want, I got enough to tell. Every single day I hear the same thing. Been drowning in a love that wasn't meant for you. And we gotta know that we both messed up a real good thing, baby. Yeah. She in love with diamonds, still ain't nothing behind it. I ain't wanna be the one to say it, but I gotta tell the truth. You roll up and say you wanna be in love, but you don't want it, cause you don't know what to do. I ain't saying I'm the perfect man, no. Still I try to understand how you feel, but you never reciprocate. You just put on your diamonds and walk away, babe. It all comes down to it, babe. They can't love you like I do. No, know it. Now we gotta get past this part. Only real love should be in your heart. If that's what you want, I got enough to tell. Every single day I hear the same thing. Been drowning in a love that wasn't meant for you. We gotta know that we both messed up a real good thing, baby. Yeah. She in love with diamonds, still ain't nothing behind it. Every single day I hear the same thing. You say you love me, but them diamonds made you change, baby. Get past this part. Only real love should be in your heart. If that's what you want, I got enough to tell. Every single day I hear the same thing. Been drowning in a love that wasn't meant for you. You gotta know that we both messed up a real good thing, baby. Yeah. She in love with diamonds, still ain't nothing behind it. I hear the same thing. Been drowning in a love that wasn't meant for you. You gotta know that we both messed up a real good thing, baby. Yeah. She in love with diamonds, still ain't nothing behind it. Every single day, I hear the same thing. You say you love me, but them diamonds made you change, baby. Diamonds made you change, baby. Oh, every single day, I hear the same thing. You say
Hey, this is your girl Melody Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville, and you are listening to the Steven Knight Show.
Well, that's our show. I want to thank you so much for tuning in again tonight. Shout out to our guest panel for joining us and the survivors. For more information on each person, you can go to our website, thestephenknightshow.com. Have a great week. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Continue to social distance. And we'll talk again next Monday. Good night.
Tonight is all eyes on me. Everything's gonna be alright. And when we get there, I'ma see a pretty young thing. I'ma ask her to take my hand. Head to the floor, we gon' dance. And when we get there, best believe we're gonna do a two-step. Ain't no drama in here, so don't stress. Step to the right, then